welcome to my channel and welcome back to episode 2 of Naughty Girl Macrame Master. I'm so excited. Hopefully you guys got your looms put together. If you didn't, because you were waiting to see what the project was going to be, that's fine. Just go ahead and go back and review my video on how to make the loom. This is the loom. This is the top part where we're going to be attaching the top of our necklace to that we're going to make today. And then this right here is the bottom part that we'll be attaching the bottom to. And in my how to make it video, I didn't quite get the shot on how I put the rubber band around it. So I'm just going to kind of zoom it in here and see if you can kind of see it's just looped around. And I don't even have the binder clip on it that I discussed. It's just, here, I'll take it off. So I take it off, okay, and then I'll just take, and you just loop it around. That's all you need to do. Like, no fancy rubber bands, nothing fancy. You just need a loop right here. So there we go. So you have your loom, and hopefully you have some cordage available, some kind of twine, string. Anything works for macrame. I absolutely love it because you can use anything to make macrame from. You can cut strips of fabric and then do the macrame from that. So, you know, that's really cool too. When I first started doing macrame, I was young. I was in my early 20s, and that was back in the late 90s or so. And the big thing with macrame then was, of course, using hemp. And, you know, I don't like to be labeled as anything, and if you know me personally, you know I'm certainly not a hippie, you know, but I do like hemp because it's a renewable resource. One of the things that I learned about hemp when I was doing research on what kind of twine I really wanted to use and why everybody's using hemp besides of the woo, it's hemp, factor. The thing with hemp is that when it grows, it doesn't deplete the soil of nutrients, which is excellent because normal crops, you know, it depletes the soil of nutrients and then you may have to plant somewhere else or add additives. I mean, I'm not a farmer, you know, I don't know. I've grown carrots and tomatoes or something and some really super hot, what are those things called? They're super, yeah, but whatever. Anyway, I'm going to cut that part out, probably. But anyway, it's a renewable resource. You can use hemp for just about everything. I mean, hemp can be used, so we have our hemp cord right here that we're going to use today. And you can use anything. You can use, like I said, you could use strips of fabric. You could use the parachute cord, which is really popular these days. People are using the parachute cord to make their bracelets, and then they have a little kind of clasp on them, like I don't know, it kind of makes me think of like a harness sort of clasp. So people use that. You can use jute, which is another natural looking cordage like hemp, but it's just different. Gosh, there's just so much you can use. Anything that's a string, you can use for hemp, or you can use to make your macrame project with. So because I have so much hemp left over from all of my projects in my 20s, I'm going to use hemp today to demonstrate how to do our first macrame project. And I'm so excited to show you guys because macrame is so much fun. When I was younger and I'd, you know, go over to friends' houses and whatever, I'd have to be doing something with my hands. I'm that kind of a person. I don't know what it's called. Maybe there's a doctor out there that can diagnose me. But I'd have to be doing something with my hands, like regardless of whether I was having an in-depth conversation or not. So you know what I did? Every single time I went to a friend's house, I bought my loom, I brought my hemp, and then I brought an assortment of beads, which, hopefully you can see this without them all falling out, but there's several beads in this little bead holder here that we're going to use, and I would just bring all kinds of beads. So we have, hopefully the camera focuses good, we have these kind of beads. These are actually beads that I made from polymer clay, and it's my own design. So guess what? You guys are going to get to learn how to do that too. We have beads that we're going to use in this project that I call them stained glass beads. Excuse the one quote, but my other hand's busy. These I made myself as well, and it's my own design. I will teach you guys how to make these. You use very thin wire, wooden beads, nail polish, and some kind of an acrylic clear coating. But they're really fun. We also have our rock charms, and since we're working with hemp today, I thought it would be really cool just to keep everything natural. You know, so we've got like the natural rocks, and then the rocks are wrapped with wire. Here's another one, and there's a front and a back. So we're going to be using the rocks as our middle charm, and we'll use the stained glass style beads and probably some of the hemp beads too. And again, I will do a video on how to make these really super cool rock charms because they're really fun, they're really easy, and they are just so pretty. So here's, which one didn't I show you guys? So then here's this one right here, and once again it has a front and a back. We'll learn how to do that. This one right here I was playing around with, just kind of coloring on the rock a little bit. Instead of just putting some gloss on it, I used a little bit of nail polish, because nail polish, it sticks to everything, as you know, and it doesn't come off. Except for off of your nails, of course. For our projects with the rocks, you just need the cheap stuff. You don't need anything expensive as far as nail polish goes, because if it's not on your nails, nail polish stains. It's just when it's on your nails it comes off, so whatever. But we're going to learn how to do all kinds of cool stuff. The first thing I need to show you to get you started with macrame, if you've never done it before, so it's kind of an introductory course, so to speak. We're going to learn how to do a flat knot. So it's basically a square knot, but you're wrapping the square knot around a piece in the middle, okay? So we're going to learn how to do flat first, and of course you put beads on this and all kinds of cool stuff. You might notice I'm wearing the necklace from my how-to video here, and then the other necklace. These are both hemp. This one is just natural hemp. This is bleached hemp. It's so neat because you can dye the hemp yourself. So if you choose to use hemp, and I'm not saying like, ooh, peace, I'm a hippie, whatever goes with that, but I'm just saying that hemp is a renewable resource, and it's a pretty material in my opinion, and it's easy to work with, and it's very strong. So this hemp right here, it's kind of a olive green. I actually dyed myself. I used RIT dye, and I used the washing machine, and I used the dryer. When you get done using your RIT dye in your washing machine and dryer, well, in your washing machine anyway, you definitely need to rinse it out before washing clothes, because if you wash clothes with anybody else, they're going to get mad if their clothes are green when they're supposed to be white. So I dyed this hemp right here, this kind of like, I like burnt sienna kind of color. I think it's really cool. It's kind of 70s, whatever. I'm kind of old-fashioned. I should have been born in like the 20s, 40s, 50s, something like that. I don't know, 70s. Then we have purple hemp, which once again, I dyed myself with RIT dye. So in this, there's two different types. I mean, there's several different types of hemp, but there's two different types of hemp that I work with. One type is it's cordage, so it's hemp cord, and it's a cord, right? The other type is hemp yarn. Wrong piece. And hemp yarn, if you can kind of see, hemp yarn is more like yarn. It kind of has the loose pieces coming out. It's easier to penetrate. So when I dye my hemp, let's see, can I find you a different color? Here we go. Here's a couple different colors. So when I dye my hemp, we've got some thicker hemp yarn right here, and then we have some thinner right here. I use hemp yarn because dyeing the yarn is easy because it soaks up. It soaks up the color. And if you guys want, I didn't actually think about it, but if you want, I'll show you guys how to dye it too. So if you want to know how to dye your hemp to pretty much any color that you can find, or even mix pretty much any color. We'll do color wheel stuff too. You can buy the hemp wholesale if you get yourself a business license. And your business license needs to say that you are doing arts and crafts. And then of course, if you win, not if, but when you sell your arts and crafts, you do need to report it to the IRS that you have a business license and you're selling these things. But normally in a regular shop, this amount of hemp, when it's a full roll, let's see, a full roll, it's kind of funny, but they call it 1 kilo, I believe. In a regular shop, it's like $25 to $30. If you go wholesale, you can get it for $5 to $15. So it's really a good deal. And this amount of cordage will make you a lot of bracelets. And I used to make bracelets and sell them at craft fairs, and I'd actually sell them to the people I worked with. If you watched my other videos, I have worked in call centers a lot, and so I was a trainer. And every Friday was payday, so I just bring my hemp creations in and be like, hey, would you like to buy this necklace? But I wouldn't wear it because that'd be kind of weird. But I just bring it in and people buy my stuff. So one of my big things that I want you guys to learn and understand is that you can make things and sell them and make money. Plus, it passes your time, right? So rather than, let's say, going out and partying with your friends and getting into trouble, you could be making a cool macrame necklace that you could then give away as a gift, or you could even sell it. And we're going to talk about selling our items that we make in a later video as well. One of the places that I sell my stuff on is Etsy. I don't have an account open right now, so don't look for it right now. But look for it right now, because you might be looking at this video in my right now, but your right now could be like in a year, and I might have an Etsy set up. So anyway, Angela Sawyer, Etsy, great place to sell your stuff. I just found that selling my stuff to the people that I worked with in the call centers works great for me, so I've been doing that, and then also doing fairs. So let's go ahead and get started. To get started, we're going to need our loom, right here, the loom that we made. And once again, if you didn't see the video, or you're like, I don't know what to do with it, it's all good. Just look at the video really quick. It's a very simple process. You just take, it's popsicle sticks and it is paint sticks. So you have your popsicle sticks here, your paint sticks here. And it basically, I used hot glue. You can use whatever you want to glue it with, really, wood glue or hot glue or whatever you have around, you know. I mean, technically you could tape it together, but it probably wouldn't hold very well, so I don't do that. But you got, basically it goes paint stick, popsicle stick, paint stick, popsicle stick, and then paint stick. So you just have this nice thick thing that you can do your work with, because you want to make sure that it's nice and thick, because you have to pull the string from here to here really tight in order for everything to come out really nice and smooth and even and looking professional and all that stuff. Because I'm sure you guys have seen, I mean, you had to have seen jewelry in different stores that's tied. You know, you might have seen something like this. You might have seen, you know, something like this, or whatever. So you have to make sure that your knots are nice and uniform, and that your middle piece that we will talk about is just really taut, just straight, tied really tight. All right. If you know me, you know I like to talk a lot. If you don't know me, you'll realize I like to talk a lot. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm trying to think, like, what do we want to use? So I've gone ahead and come up with my design for my necklace. If you check it out here, you can see that I have my rock right here, and then I have a female bead that I painted with copper, my female bead creation, copper, female bead, copper. And then I also am going to be using this green dyed hemp yarn for my project, because it's going to match the rock charm that will go in the middle just perfectly. So we're going to get started. The first thing that I'm going to show you in my series, I'm going to show you how to do a flat knot. So there's a flat knot, and then there's like a curly kind of knot. So I'm going to show you the flat knot first. I'm also going to demonstrate how you measure out the twine, because you kind of need to know how much you need for what. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually, I'm going to make this for me, and I'm going to decide how far down I want it on myself. I want to spread creativity to the world. There's so many more things to do besides like getting in trouble and drugs and just spray painting things you shouldn't be spray painting and toilet papering things you shouldn't be toilet papering. I want everybody to learn how to be creative and how to turn that into a business, because that's what I have done. And I want to share it with you guys. So the first thing that we're going to do for measuring out the twine, since I'm going to be making a necklace for myself, I'm going to just drape it around me here. And let's see, how long do I want it? So I'm thinking with the charm, I mean, I like chokers a lot, but with the charm, I think I'm going to have it be a little bit lower, so to speak. So going a little bit below the camera here, but I'm going to just go and make it just about maybe a couple inches longer than as long as I would like it to be. And then I'm going to double that. So I have my string right here. I marked my spot. And then I'm just going to take, whoop, oh, there goes the yarn. And we have a cat too. That's so awesome. And I'm just going to double it. So here I have my end. And I'm going to just, that's why I got a couple different pairs of scissors. I've trained before, and I know that when it can go wrong, it will. So we're going to do these scissors. Oh, those are just fantastic as well. I picked the sharpest scissors in my house to do this project with. So this right here, this is our middle piece. And when we were discussing making the loom, I told you that the middle piece is going to hang, well, it's in the middle. So that's where this piece is going to go on the loom. The next step is to measure out the piece that's going to be tied as a square knot around your middle piece. So once again, you're going to take your yarn, and this time you don't have to go anything extra over, because you'll probably have extra string anyway, but I'd rather have more string than not enough string. But guess what? If you don't have enough string and you're right in the middle of your project and you're like, it looks so good, but I ran out of string, I'm going to do a video on how to add string or twine or whatever it is that you're using to make your macrame with. I'm going to show you how to add extra if you've cut it too short, and nobody will know at all. So that, if you want to get ready for that, get yourself some fabric glue that is permanent. You can get it at like Joann Fabrics or Michael's or something like that, but some kind of a fabric glue that's permanent, get that. And then we will talk about how to add on when you've kind of messed up or you didn't know how much you would need for the amount of twine for your project. So like I said, next step is to make the part that is going to be tying the square knot around the middle piece. So then we take and we say, okay, I want it to be this long, it's right here, and we don't add anything extra. And then we're going to take and we're going to make it 4 times as long as what we have measured out. So I'm going to go 1, well, that's actually 2, okay, and I'm going to take it again, bring it up, that makes 3, and then I'm going to bring it up again, and that makes 4 times as long as the length that I'm trying to make. And again, this is the outside piece. You have a middle piece and an outside piece. So I'm going to cut this now. Let's see if we can find some scissors that work here. It's not like hemp's that hard to cut. I just have dull scissors because we have kids. Alright, so here we have our big old long piece for the outside. We have our shorter piece for the middle. And now we're going to get into how we're going to tie our knots and add our beads and all those things. One thing that you do need to pay attention to is where the middle is going to be. So remember that this is this is our necklace right here, but we made it just a little bit longer than it needs to be. And the hemp or the twine, whatever you choose to use, parachute cord is really neat because it's super slick, and you can get it thin or thick or anything, and it's really pretty. But you want to make sure that you know where the middle is of your project, okay? Because the middle, if you're going to do a charm, like the rock charm that we chose, that we're going to learn how to make in a later video. And besides these rock charms, you guys are going to be excited. I mean, well, I'm excited. But I made some other rock charms that are actually like beads, and they just connect together with these loops. It's really neat. So I'm going to show you guys how to do some really cool rock wrapping as well. Rock wrapping. Okay. So let's get started. Alright, so my rubber band came off. Maybe I should have used the binder clip that I suggested in my last video because my rubber band came off, but now I have it. So when I said that we'll figure out how to use the loop later, this is the loop, and I'm going to show you how to use it. So first, this is our middle piece, and we're going to take and make a loop right in the middle. So for this project, we are just doing a single knot, and like I said, it's going to be a flat knot. So the reason we have a rubber band, first of all, rubber bands are rubber, so they stick to things. We're going to take and feed our twine through the rubber band once, and then through it twice. Now, hemp, the item that we are working with, it stays taut with twice. If you choose to use a parachute cord or anything like that, you might have to wrap it around a couple times. But we are not done. We actually need to load our beads onto our string. So we'll just go ahead and make sure that this is nice and even. And I have the bead layout right here, and you just want to put it on as it goes. And that moved. So we're just going to go, and you know, sometimes it can be hard to get the bead to go onto the twine, especially when you're working with yarn, because it's, you know, a little pulled apart. What I do a lot of the times, which I probably should have done this time, is I take some super glue, which dries really fast, and it dries really hard. So if you put super glue at the end of anything that you are trying to string a bead on, it's like having a needle. So it's just like having a needle on your actual twine, which I probably should have done. You know, and my inner monologue is, do I cut this out of my video clip or leave it in, you know? Like, do you want to see the real world, or do you want to see the perfect world? Okay, here we go. So if you twist it a little bit and kind of get it wet and whatever, just say a couple nice things, it'll go on. So we're going to do that one. We're going to do our next female bead. And remember, I am going to show you how to make these really super cool female beads in a later episode. So make sure and check everything out, you know? Like that. Then we're going to do the next one. And the next one. And you know, to tell you, to be honest, I really do want to spread creativity to avoid the mishaps and unfortunate things that are happening in the world. There's so many things that are happening right now, whether it be adults that are doing it or children that are doing it. It's just, I want to make sure my camera's still recording here. Hang on. Okay. I don't know, it's just unfortunate. Right now, and you could be watching this, like I said, a couple years from now, but I mean, right now, we just had another school shooting in Florida. We have kids that are doing like a school walkout sort of thing on certain days for their city, or maybe it's certain days for the whole country. I'm not really sure. Okay, I'm gonna put my do I want to put it on there? You know what? I'm gonna let this one right here, I'm gonna let this loop around different twine, because if I put it on right here, it's gonna be sideways. So I need to wait until I start doing the macrame so I can make it frontward. So I'll just leave that there. But anyway, I mean, all this violence and the school shootings and all that stuff, I mean, it's sad. It's really, really sad. And it's ridiculous. I mean, we need to, like, as a parent, I am going to get my children interested in activities. This is one of the reasons that I'm doing this YouTube channel on how to do really cool arts and crafts, because first of all, this stuff does not cost a lot of money. And when you get into doing something that you really like, this hemp is not working for me. So notice I keep twisting it to try to make sure I get the bead on. And as soon as I put the bead through it, I just keep twisting till I get it on. So it's just my practice, whatever. But back to my rant about children needing things to do besides like killing each other. Seriously, we need to get our kids into doing things. We do. We need to get them into arts and crafts and hobbies and sports. And maybe not the kind of sports that give them concussions, that make them have no feelings at all. But they need to be into something. They need to be into maybe karate, or, you know, get into dance, get into art, that's why I'm doing this video. Get into making your own cool things and selling them. Make some money, you know? There's a lot of ways to make money. There's a lot of illegal ways, and there's a lot of legal ways to make money. Get into a hobby or a craft that allows you to enjoy what you're doing, which I'm completely enjoying what I'm doing right now. I love doing crafts and art, but get yourself into a hobby or a craft. Get your kids into a hobby or a craft, because it's not just satisfying. Whoa, I just dropped that bead. All right, I found the bead, and I tried to encourage my little girl to go back to her big sister, but she is still calling mommy. And one of my other big things is that, you know, children need to feel like they're loved. You should, maybe you're a kid and you're watching this and you're like, blah, 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 but maybe you're a parent and you're watching this. So just turn the volume down for your kid, whatever, or maybe have them listen. But kids need to feel loved, you know. And my daughter's sitting out there calling mommy, and here in just a minute, I'm just gonna turn the camera off, and I'm gonna go see what she needs, and I'm gonna make her feel loved. She might get distracted by her big sister, but she might decide that she needs her mommy. And since starting my arts and crafts mission to help people find something to do that's better than illegal things, that allows you to make money that's not illegal, you know, I'm really into it. I don't just want my children to benefit from this knowledge. I want all children to benefit from this knowledge, because it's easy to make things and sell them. It takes your time, which takes time away from doing things that maybe you shouldn't be doing. It's fun and it's satisfying, because once you're done, so I'm going to have this little charm right here. Once you're done, you're like, wow, I actually made that. That's pretty cool. So, you know, get into making something, whether it's my macrame videos or the other things. I'm going to do some videos on making things out of wood, repurposing items. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to do, you have your middle string in the middle, and you have your string that you're going to tie the square knots around right here in your hand. You want to make sure that it's spaced out evenly. You have half and half, divide it in half. This loop right here, this thing that's going to be a loop because of the nail, is actually going to end up being part of our clasp for the necklace. So we want to make it big enough for what we're going to use for the other part. The other part might be a bead that slides into the loop, or a button or something of that nature. It will be easy to adjust the bead or the button, but we just want to pay close attention that we don't have it up too high. I'm going to get one started and I'm going to show you how to do it, because if I try to show you on the first one, it might be confusing. And I'll show you on the first one, it's just, I want to show you once it's tied. So we have our first knot right here, and I can pull it down, I can push it up. We want to make sure that once again, this rubber band is what's pulling our string tight. And then also, once again, we want to remember where our middle is. So we're going to be constantly kind of checking where the middle is. The middle is here. So these beads are definitely not going to go on right there. They're going to go on closer to where the middle is, which is right there. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to tie the basic square, I don't know, I'm trying to make a square. Is this weird? Macrame knot. Okay, here we go. Okay, so we have our two strings right here, and like I said, these nails, pegs, or tacks, whatever you chose to use, are going to be used in future projects. For right now, we are going to use the middle one. Okay, the first step in tying your square knot for a flat macrame item, you take and make sort of a figure 4. So, you know, depending on how old you are and how schools teach, you might remember this figure 4. It's a figure 4. I'm going to try to let you guys see. It's a 4. Okay. So we're going to make this figure 4 right here. And then with our string that is on the left-hand side. Okay, and then we're going to take our string on the right-hand side, because we have two sides. We're going to put it over the top of the, we'll call it tail of the figure 4, and then just kind of do a little diagonal through the middle of the figure 4. Once you have the knot perfected, you need to take and pull it evenly tight. So don't just pull this side really hard, don't just pull this side really hard. They both need to be pulled just gently tight. It doesn't need to be Alcatraz tight. Okay? So now, the last one we did was a figure 4 this way. If we wanted to make it curly and spin around, we would keep doing it this way. But we want to make this one flat. So it's going to be a flat piece instead of curling. So now we're going to go to the other side and we're going to make another figure 4. So see how it looks like a 4? You take your string, you put it over the tail. Meow, bark, bark. I don't know, that was for the kids. But you put it over the tail, and then you push it around and under the part that's making the triangle part of the figure 4. And then you pull it. Okay? Now, if you are not sure where you left off, you're like, I don't know if I make my figure 4, do I do it this way? Do I do it this way? If you do it the wrong way, it's going to start a curly. So you have to go back and forth and back and forth. But let's just say for a moment, because this video is meant for kids, for teenagers, for adults, let's just say for a moment that, you know, you're a teenager and you got a like a Facebook message or something. You're like, I don't know where I left off on my figure 4. You look at the loop. there's going to be a loop on one side, and then the end is going to come out the other side. So notice there's a loop right here. It's a loop. And then this is an end that comes out. Okay? So wherever the end comes out, that means that you need to not do another loop, because if there's an end in a loop, it's going to go into a curly. Okay? So wherever your loop is, you make another loop. If you lose track of where you are, you look at where the loop is in comparison to where the string is just coming out, so there's a loop. And then you do your knot that way. So we're going to do our knot, place it, make a figure 4. We place it over the top of our string that we just made a figure 4 with, under the middle string that we have already attached to the rubber band, and then we pull it through the triangle part, of the figure 4. And then we pull it. So then we can see that we have a loop here, and then this part's coming out, and a loop here. So I don't know what I did. I don't know where I'm at. Oh my gosh, what do I do? Okay, so let's see. Oh, there's a loop here. So I'm going to start with my loop. And my loop is going to be my figure 4. So I'm going to take my figure 4, place my other string, twine, over it, push it under my middle piece that just stays where it's at with the rubber band, and then through the triangle part of my figure 4. And then I tie it. I make a figure 4. So I know there's a loop, and then I know that my figure 4 is the next loop. I put it over my string that's making a figure 4, under my middle string that has the beads on it. This is the middle string, and then you push it, you pull it through the triangle part. Push it through the triangle part of the figure 4. One of the things that is very important to make sure that your jewelry or whatever you're making, because like I said, we're going to get into bigger projects. It's not just going to be this straight. We're going to have thick stuff. And if you looked at the last part of my video from how to make this loom, there's a purse. And it's a full-size purse. And it is actually made of all macrame. It's all knots. It is a naughty purse. And I don't mean naughty like whatever. I mean naughty like my channel is kid appropriate. So we're going to go ahead and pull this straight.